What up? What up? What up? This is RJ Fantasy Football Talking. You know what it is. Back again. You know who I am. I'm Rodney. That's JJ. What's going on, bro?
I'm preparing my shelves, getting ready for these championships. I'm in 2 championships games this coming week, and so I'm about to bring. I gotta bring home at least one of them. I was in 2
Yeah.
last year, you remember, and I brought home one. I'd like to bring home both of them this year, but if I don't bring a trophy home, my wife, I told y'all, her first year in fantasy is this year, and she is also in a championship game. So
Hey,
hey,
hey, it's all in the family. You know
all
how
in
we
the
do.
fam.
All
So,
in the family. So
hey,
hey, you win one, I win one. You know that's how we do it around here. So I'm
yeah,
taking some
hey,
credit for that. So
hey,
Zach.
I get advice from you, right? We talk
Oh
it on
yeah,
the show, so yeah, it's all in the fam. Of course,
all in the family.
on the official roster, I think I will have a bigger lead over you, but
I mean,
yeah, but
it's
it
eight, it's eight,
happens.
it's 8-7 right now. It's fine though. Hey,
Hey,
I'm still at
hey,
7 championships, so I take that. I'm cool.
you got
I got
nothing to be ashamed of. You still get the job done.
it definitely. So hey, it was a tough season, but I'm happy y'all in there. I'm happy y'all getting them championships.
Yeah,
Yeah, I get. Hey, look, I'm pulling for y'all. Hey, cause anything RNG win, we all win together.
there
So
we
hey,
go.
that,
It's all in the collective. We like the
that's
Borg,
all.
you know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
look, we about what we 15 championships deep over here.
Yeah.
So
So
a lot of people can't beat us, and we play in a bunch of leagues. So and we run leagues. So that's the thing. Like it's a lot going on over here with us. So definitely, hey, congratulations on making it though. Anybody
yeah.
that's in it, congratulations on making it. And we're gonna put a poll down there. Are you still in the championship going into next week?
Yes.
So we need to know. Let us know. Hit us up. While we live. But we're gonna start off how we always do. We're gonna start off with the impact players from last week, and you know how we do. We start with the quarterbacks. So I'm gonna go ahead and start it off, and normally do what I do.
Uh huh.
I'm gonna start with Colin Murray. We
Yes.
not we didn't see this coming, but he definitely balled out 27 to 36, 406, 3 touchdowns. I don't think he threw for over 300 yards in a while. For him
Yeah.
to throw over 400 yards,
400.
I mean that was crazy. So
You
he,
got
he
it
did
done.
his thing. He won some people some games. I tell you that. So definitely. So
Yeah.
he did his thing. Tom Brady, he killed Atlanta once again.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you say? It's something about him versus Atlanta, man. They just can't get right against him. 31 to 45, 390 and 2 touchdowns. He played well. I mean, Tom Brady's been slipping a little bit lately, but
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
did play well last week. So and they came back from what 21 down. So
I,
they
I
definitely
I was watching that game and I was like, oh man, Atlanta's gonna actually win this. I have Matt Ryan, so I was excited about it. Then I looked back and I was like, hold on, wait, what happened? That
yeah,
game, that was crazy.
yeah, that's definitely
Yeah.
crazy. I got a little bit of long list tonight with these
Hey,
quarterbacks.
take
I
your
got
time. Take your time.
Deshaun Watson. He had like I know I was checking earlier. He had like one league in one of the leagues I was playing, and he had about 5 points in the first half. But he ended up 33 or 41 with 373 and 2 touchdowns. So he ended up actually putting up really good numbers to end it all. So I think next year, if they get him a number one receiver, he gonna be lights out. He doing this with second and third receivers. So just imagine if they grab the actual number one. Julio Jones might end up there next year, people. Just to keep that in mind. Um, Speaking of Matt Ryan makes the list. He ain't made it in a while, but 34, 49, 356, 3 touchdowns. This is the Matt Ryan I wanted to see all year long. I don't know what happened.
Right.
Um, he's been terrible, but this week he just decided to play well for
Hey,
some reason.
it's playoff time, so as long as he does this again next week, I'm gonna forgive all his transgressions from earlier this year. As long as he brings me home that chip.
I ain't
So
mad at you. I wish you would have
yeah,
done that for me a couple weeks ago, but
right.
I can't. Whatever. It is what it is. And I'm gonna continue to show love to Josh Allen. 28 of 43.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna be a top 2 quarterback next year in the leagues we play in. He might be a top 2 quarterback next year in a bunch of leagues. So I'm just putting that out there. Jalen Hurts, he had a wonderful game. 24, 44, 338, 3 touchdowns. Carson Wentz, you can kiss that job goodbye. It's not yours anymore. You will be gone to another team next year because Carson Wentz, in a losing cause, by the way, still played well, and I think he's going to get better. So that's who I have at quarterback. It's kind of long, but
Yeah, you said about every quarterback, but you left a couple of them there for me, so I ain't too
yeah,
mad at you. I just want to
yeah,
say I'm gonna start off just by reiterating Matt Ryan got me in the championship game, and I know one of our loyal listeners, Tony, if you watching, took you down because that's what I do. You talked a lot of noise this year, but Matt Ryan brought me back. So if you're not watching now, I'm gonna just send you this tape so you can find out how I crushed you, basically, and all your hopes and dreams. But that's not here or there. Let's talk quarterbacks. Ryan Tannehill, 273 yards, 3 touchdowns passing, 21 rushing yards, and 2 touchdowns rushing. I was like, wow, that's a monster game for Ryan Tannehill. And we actually called it last week saying Ryan Tannehill would have a really good game because they weren't playing anybody of consequence. So we called that one. So pat on the back for us. And I'm going to give love to a guy that gets crushed a lot on this show, especially by the R of the R&J, and that's Lamar Jackson. 243 yards, 3 touchdowns passing, 35 rushing yards, and a touchdown with his legs, which is what he's mostly known for. But he got it done with his arm and his legs. So much love for Lamar Jackson this week.
they ain't play nobody. Okay.
Hey, I'm a fantasy player. I don't give a rip.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, the question is, can he do it again against somebody that's real?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll have to find out. We'll have to find out. Hey, I just give love when love is due.
Okay, I got you. No problem. I ain't mad at you. Nope. That's all you got for me.
That's all the quarterbacks.
Okay, I got you. Well, I'm gonna slide to the running backs, and this guy always make my list. King Henry again. Yeah. I mean, 24 carries, 147, a touchdown. They say he itching. He probably gonna get $2,000 this year. Rushing, he gonna be the rushing king again this year. My question for you is, would you go number 1?
Hey,
in fantasy next year?
A lot of people had King Henry, Derrick Henry, in their tier 2 running backs this year because he doesn't catch out the backfield, right? It was like, nah, I can't put him up there because if it's PPR, blah 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 blah. For the second year in a row, Derrick Henry is like, I don't give a rip if I don't catch a single pass, I'm gonna run. Did you see the stiff arm again?
Yeah, I seen it.
He just keeps,
I mean,
hey,
get out the way. That's all I'm saying. If
he's gonna keep doing that, then I would go no Dalvin Cook. But after Dalvin Cook and maybe Alvin Kamara, yeah, I'm going Derrick Henry. Ezekiel Elliott and Saquon Barkley have lost all ability to be in my top 3 because I'm not gonna be able to rely on either one of those. And when I get to my running backs, I'll tell you a little bit about that. But you know what? You're not finished yours, but you might hit this guy. You'll probably hit this guy before I get to it. Then.
So
Tony Pollard. But to answer your question, I'm going high Derrick Henry next year. I guarantee you. Yeah. I'll let you finish.
And I know you're gonna go high on this guy next year. This is one of your favorite guys. You speak highly of him. David Montgomery. 32 carries, 146, 2 touchdowns. I mean, what more can you say?
Bringing me championships. That's what he did.
The guy has shown
balling out.
I mean, next year he's gonna be a top 10 running back next year, easy.
This is the David Montgomery people wanted, starting last year, and they were disappointed at the beginning of the year. But hey, at the second half, he's killing it right now. Ever since he came, like you said last week, since he's been back from that injury, he's been on a tear.
Man, he's been on a tear.
I don't know I don't remember what he got injured, but he injured it right because it knocked something into place that he's been a monster. You're right.
So he definitely is going to be He's gonna be someone to grab next
Yeah.
year.
Oh yeah.
I'm telling you, he's gonna jump. That running
Oh
back list next year is gonna look really, really different.
yeah.
I
I
mean,
think so.
CMC CMC is barely in the conversation.
Yeah.
If you go on top three, you got, like I said, you gotta go Cook, you gotta go Henry. I mean, it's a lot of people that's gonna start jumping to Zeke and
Yeah. Zeke ain't
Saquon
it.
and I mean,
Saquon ain't
you
it.
got. I'm telling you, those guys are gonna start falling.
Yeah.
And you're gonna see like, oh man, really, this is gonna be crazy next year. I mean, it's some good running backs out there. It's gonna be a ton of good running backs. So I'm gonna continue. Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is another one who does not get the credit he deserves. Only from you though. You love Aaron Jones. 20 carries, 145 and a touchdown. He is up for a contract this year. Is he gonna be in Green Bay? Is the question. So
a lot of people, I can't even remember his name right now, but AJ Dillon. AJ Dillon got picked and people was falling far from the Aaron Jones train.
Yeah.
He's an afterthought. Next year is going to be interesting to see what they do. I don't see how you don't re-sign Aaron Jones, but I wouldn't be surprised. He's a running. Do you know his age off the top of your head? I can't remember how old he is.
You talking about
Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones got to be he's got to be at least 24, 25.
Yeah,
he's pretty young for a running back.
I know he's not at the 30 mark yet, but I'm just trying to think how close he is to that. I still think you resign him, but
yeah. I mean, honestly, you resign him, you got to give him big money. You have to
big running back money because they don't.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, running back money is different than any other position, but
yeah. So at the end of the day, you got to keep him. If you don't keep him, you roll it with AJ Dillon, but you can't get rid of Aaron Jones, man. I mean, you just can't. So, and then obviously you got Dalvin Cook, 24 carries, 132 and a touchdown. He definitely gonna be the number one running back next year.
Yeah.
But I got a special shout out. I got a special shout out to one player who made this list, who's not a running back, by the way, but he's a quarterback. Marcus Mariota. He made this list with 9 carries, 88 yards, and a touchdown. And I seen this, and I was like, what? I was like, this came out of nowhere. I was like, this guy, where this come from?
Derek Carr went out early in that game, and I was like, oh, well, it's over. But, hey, he did. Mariota looked pretty good back there. Hopefully he doesn't have to play this week. No offense to him. I'd rather have Derek Carr. But I was impressed. I got to admit, I was impressed with him. Except for that interception he threw that cost the game. But, I can't fault him on that one play. Other than that, he played great.
He made a list. That's all I got. I mean,
he didn't help fantasy owners because nobody had him.
No, not really. I mean,
not at all. But
he wasn't even a thought, honestly. But I mean, he did play well. I mean,
right.
He's trying to get a job next year? Do he get a job next year? We don't know. I mean, It's going to be a lot of quarterbacks later because I want to talk about that later.
Yeah,
there's something I want to talk about, but it's going to be a lot of quarterbacks available next year. Yeah. And I want to play a game. Where do they land? And we can kind of play something just to kind of just to have some fun. It's Christmas time. We're gonna have some fun. So definitely, that's what I got though for running backs. What you got for me?
All right. Well, first, welcome Orlando Lewis to the show. Thanks for joining us. I already mentioned the first person on my list, and that is Tony Pollard because Ezekiel Elliott, like I was saying earlier, I think is sadly done. I'm not saying they won't bring him back next year, but I'm just saying his time as that dominant running back. He might be hurt, but I'm not feeling it. He was a surprise out, I think, for a lot of people. And Tony Pollard showed that he was, he can do the job. He had 69 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, and also 63 receiving yards. You mentioned all my other guys, so I'm going to just say J.D. McKissick filling in for Antonio Gibson, 51 yards, rushing, 56 yards, receiving, and a receiving touchdown. And all the other guys you mentioned, like David Montgomery and Aaron Jones, are on my fantasy football teams, and they're the reason I'm in the championship this week. So big ups to them too.
Definitely. So I mean, that list is, them guys came to play, man. I could have added more.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that put it off. Yeah, at some point.
Cut it off at a certain point, but it's just so many guys that did work last week. it was insane.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of get credit where credit's due. So at the end of the day, I ain't mad at that. So definitely. Then we got tight ends and running back. I mean tight ends and wide receivers and
Right.
DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, what can you say? 9 receptions, 169, a touchdown. That's all on what Colin Murray did too. So
Right.
definitely your boy Calvin Ridley again
Doing it.
10 receptions, 163, a touchdown, and then you got Stephon Diggs, 11 receptions, 147. Hey, look, man.
I think that's the big. I counted them on the biggest misses we had because we were not big on Stephon Diggs with that offense. And hey, but a lot of it goes back to, like you said, Josh Allen, his improvement in specifically throwing the long ball. It's been incredible, and so Stephon Diggs as a result. Now the question, I guess, how long does it last? Because it's not like he didn't have good years with Kirk Cousins, and then it went sour.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I mean,
whether
I think it lasts.
Yeah, I think Josh Allen is better, so that should help.
Yeah,
it stay good, right?
Yeah,
you know what I'm
saying? They definitely they building on something there. They got something there. Now I ain't even gonna say they need a second receiver because
I think John Brown is a good second as well as Cole Beasley. Especially if John Brown is healthy.
I would say so too.
Yeah.
I don't think they need to draft. I think they're good at receiver.
Yeah.
I think going into next year, I think Diggs is gonna be one of those guys. But receivers so deep in fantasy.
Yeah.
Not saying you can wait to get Diggs, but you can't wait too long.
I think Diggs is going to be another one of those guys who goes immediately to like one of the top wide receivers just based off his quarterback situation. By the way, did you hear the Justin Jeffries cursing out Kirk Cousins in that last game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, and that's why Stephon Diggs probably got frustrated there. So I think he's in a much better spot with Josh Allen. So
I'm telling you, I think we're gonna talk about it because I got some gut feelings on some quarterbacks that's gonna be changing teams next year, and I just feel like it's because it's a way of getting out of it. So definitely. But I got DJ Moore. He made my list.
Hey, one of us was really big on DJ Moore this year.
He was, but he's still trash. So whatever. 6 receptions, 131.
Right.
He been coming along.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say I'm on the train.
He started slow. I'll admit. I was starting to doubt myself for.
He came along. I'm gonna just say that. I ain't too on the train yet, but I'm definitely. I got one maybe 2-3 toes on it, but I ain't all the way there yet. Hey, I got to see more from him.
I can't fault you.
But he has been playing well, so he made the list.
Yeah.
And then I got this guy's not a receiver, but he's a running back.
Okay.
David Johnson.
Surprise.
David Johnson made this 11 receptions, 106. I mean, he still gives you RB2 production.
Uh-huh.
He still can give that to you. And even on, I would consider this more of a comeback year from last year from being hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I think next year he still may be an RB2, maybe an RB3, a late round RB3.
Yeah.
You probably can get some product from. But I just don't think he's a 1 anymore. But it depends on what league you in.
Right.
It depends on if you get points per yards or half a yard or whatever. So it just depends on how it works. Some leagues he's an RB2. Some leagues RB3. So it depends.
I think one of the big things we liked about David Johnson was we figured he'd be the only guy in town. But they've been showing a lot of Duke Johnson. Some of it because David Johnson's been hurt a little bit and banged up. But I think, I'm guessing, that they're going to be pretty happy with what Duke Johnson has done. Well, I guess that depends on who's going to be the actual head coach next year. So never mind. Sure. We'll find out. But I think Duke Johnson has shown that he deserves to get a little bit more playtime than perhaps we thought he deserved at the beginning of the year.
Definitely, I would say that. And with the tight ends, Darren Waller, I mean, what more can you say? I mean, 9 receptions, 150 yards, a touchdown. Darren Waller is officially, for me, a top 3 tight end in the league. So he has.
Yep, he was there for me already, but I'm a biased Raiders fan. But
I mean, he was there a couple weeks ago when I was talking about it, but he's officially
just off the fact that he is such a big part of that offense. Are you done with your tight ends, by the way?
I got wide receivers.
Okay.
Logan Thomas.
Oh, okay.
Now, I don't know. Logan Thomas had 13 receptions, 101
Yeah.
yards. Do you put Logan Thomas as a top 10 tight end next
Oh
year?
yeah, definitely. I think
Okay.
he's made the transition from quarterback to tight end, and I think especially with the way that Washington offense is constructed, I'm 100% Logan Thomas next year.
Yeah, it
Definitely
depends on
top
the
10.
quarterback, though. It definitely depends
Yeah,
on who they bring.
it
Because I'm
definitely does.
hearing rumblings that they may bring in a quarterback next
Yeah.
year. But that's like I said, I want to talk about that later. But I'm hearing that. Now, if they bring back Alex Smith, then you
No,
definitely
Logan Thomas
he's,
has big
he's
value
definitely a
with
top
Alex
10.
Smith. Yeah.
Alex Smith. So definitely, I'll see. But that's what I got for my wide receivers, tight ends.
Then let me start. Not even with
Go.
wide receivers. I gotta give much love and props to the one and only Travis Kelce. I'm on his bandwagon all the time. You do, of course, know that he is only 60 yards away from breaking your boy's single season record for tight ends. So Travis Kelce, 68 yards this week, one touchdown and a 2-point conversion. So you might tell Kittle he might as well kiss that record goodbye because Kelsey's about to grab that.
I want you to realize what you just said, though.
Uh-huh.
Who has the record?
Okay, about to be past tense though. Hello, Anita Bracey. Thanks for joining us and happy holidays to you. But yes, Kittles has it now, but it ain't gonna be his at the end of the season. So
okay, whatever.
So to getting it done. So I'm just throwing that out there because the audience needs to know 60 yards.
All right.
And that's all it takes for him to be the number one tight end.
Hey, look, I told you last week.
Uh-huh.
I'm not biased towards Kittle. Towards Kelce. I like Kelce. I'm telling you now. I'm just saying. I bleed gold and red. I don't know why you don't understand that. I don't know anything different.
I'm just saying you should have thrown his name out there while I was doing this list.
But you know what? I got to change it up every now and then.
Every now and then.
He didn't crack 100 yards, so I can't give him that. So I had to go with Logan Thomas. At least I said, come on, man. You got to give me some credit.
For this week, I actually did have Darren Waller at the top of my list and Logan Thomas number 2. But with Travis Kelce 60 yards away, I was like, he gonna get some love because
I knew that was coming anyway.
You were just saving it there for me.
Look who I'm talking to. Like, come on, man. Like, really?
All I can do is say facts. So
I like facts.
But now we give you some love, and I'm gonna put on my wide receiver list, Brandon Ayuk. Who put in 73 yards and a touchdown, and we was big on Debo, but next year I think I might go Ayuk before Debo because
I don't know. I think the one game, me being a personal fan, the one game they played together about 2 weeks ago, both of them had the same amount of targets.
Yeah.
And they had the same amount of yards, and both of them had a touch. I think they're both going to get work.
Now, here's the question. With both of them there and then a healthy George Kittle, is there any one of the three that's going to – because it could be a situation much like, the Kansas City Chiefs where it doesn't even matter how no one ever suffers in that offense.
I'm going to say this, honestly. To be real with you, the way they run the offense and the way they run Debo with those pick screens and all this.
Right. They get him involved in the run game as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Brandon Ayuk is more a traditional receiver that runs down and he runs routes. Debo is not that type of receiver. Debo can run routes, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But Debo is more involved running those screen plays and all that stuff. That's how he get involved. So either way, but the thing is, with a healthy Kittle's going to take that middle, those linebackers, those safeties, he going to bring them in. Nobody can check. And Brandon Ayuk just now catching he said something, I read an article today, he was saying that he found the game is finally slowing down for him.
Right.
Anytime it started to slow down for a receiver, that means that they actually know the playbook. Like they know what routes they're going to run. And it's saying, so I think with those two health, it could be pick your poison type.
Right.
You can't double team either one of them because if you double team one of them, if you got all three of them out there, who you double teaming? It's going to be crazy. So
I think the biggest question mark is going to be who's back there, taking the snaps and throwing the passes as their quarterback. But as far as offensive, maybe so. But hey, that would be killer though. Put him with those weapons Hey.
I'm hearing the Matthew Stafford over here, but yeah, exactly. But I mean, Brandon Ayuk is. I said it earlier, and I drafted him in a few leagues before people even realized it. But he gonna be a dog, man. I'm telling you, he's gonna be a dog in this league. And he said he's trying to be like Julio.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the Julio
healthy,
from the
good
beginning.
Julio, right?
Yeah, that
right.
Julio. He's trying to be like that, and I'm like,
right. So far he's showing he can do it. So I'm actually, I might even. It's hard to say because one of my championships, I was like, I haven't had Ayuk in a game. I might throw him in because the last few weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, he's just been putting up monster numbers. But my team is so stacked in that league that I can actually afford to leave him on the bench. But he might have to get into work. He might get in the lineup this week. Cause
I'm just saying, like, it's like again, receivers are deep.
Yeah.
So that receivers in general going into fantasy next year are gonna. It's super deep. So it's gonna be deep to the point where you can grab Brandon Ayuk now.
Right.
The thing is, do you go? Which one do you go first? You can't go wrong with either one, but which one do you go first is the question.
Right. I think I honestly, I'm gonna leave Kittle's out of the argument for right now and just talk wide receivers. I think a good analogy is the Robert Woods Cooper Kupp situation in wherever the place is. I'm thinking of the Los Angeles Rams. It doesn't matter. I'm taking whichever one's available.
You're right about that. Yeah. You're right. You grab if you could grab either one.
Yeah.
I mean, like you say, that's a good analogy, by the way, because Robert Woods.
And Robert Woods is the Deebo Samuels, where they put him in the run game all the time. But Cooper Kupp is getting receptions.
Right. So it makes sense because Cooper Kupp run better routes than Robert Woods.
Right.
So it just depends on how you do it. And I think both of them going to eat. I think both of them going to get theirs. They're going to eat. So, look, man, you can't go wrong.
Yeah. So
either way.
There you go. I think your team could be pretty good next year. If they can, get healthy and maybe be allowed back into the state of California.
Bro, that's so crazy, man. But like, that's wild, man.
Yeah.
But I've been reading articles, bro, and they saying, I don't know. It depends on what quarterback next year.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing for me. So we're gonna see.
Yeah, but that's it. As far as my impact players, I throw a little bit of love to Marvin Jones and Zack Pascal. Guys that probably weren't into Marvin Jones. People might have had in their lineups just because Kenny Golladay is MIA, but he put up 112 a touchdown. Zack Pascal, who I had in one league that I've been out of the playoffs from that one, so it doesn't even matter. But Zack Pascal did put in some early work for me in one of my leagues. 79 yards, 2 touchdowns. Getting it done with Phillip Rivers finally looking like a quarterback at the end of the season when it's way too late to help me because he was my second quarterback in one of my other leagues. But it's all good. I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter at all. Even though the Colts are my mom's team. So,
Yeah.
So,
it's all good, but I don't think he's going to be there next year.
I don't see why he would be. Well, I don't think he will be. We'll talk about that, like you said, when we talk some more quarterbacks.
But I think
somebody else will be there. What you got?
I got a little bit of news. Falcons they saying the Falcons will allow the GM to part ways with Julio Jones and Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
What's your take on that? How you feel about that?
Yo, so there's Julio Jones I get completely because, like I said, he's not that young cat like he was back where he's sort of towards the end where you can't rely on him week in and week out because he's been having these injury problems. Like you said earlier, he used to fight through a lot of these. Now I don't know if he can. And quite frankly, I think Calvin Ridley is the better wide receiver there. But the thing that I don't like about it is with Matt Ryan not there, even though Matt Ryan's had a bad year, I'm like, I don't know how much I like my Calvin Ridley next year, not knowing who the quarterback's going to be. It's like, I like Calvin Ridley with Matt Ryan. I don't know who's going to be there for me to like him with after that.
Well, I mean, they are going to have a top 5 pick next year.
Yeah.
Well, this year.
Yeah.
They're going to have a top 5 pick this year in the draft. They could go quarterback, but, I mean, if it ain't Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields, I mean, you're hearing some other names, kid from Alabama, but when can you name the last Alabama quarterback that was really good?
Well, Tua? Is he going to be that guy?
I mean, we don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. But that's your best bet now because other than that, you got to go way back before you get to a relevant Alabama quarterback.
And then you got it's gonna be some free agent core. I think it's gonna
Mm-hmm.
be some quarterbacks available this summer that more than people think. I
Yeah.
think a lot of teams will kind of cut bait with some teams. But I will go out. I'm gonna say this. I think Julio may end up in Houston
I could see that because they
because
need a replacement
they
for
need a replacement.
Nuke.
Julio, a healthy Julio, I think is still good.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
definitely. The question is,
um
if is there a healthy Julio? I guess
I
would be
think
the only
I
thing.
think he can be healthy. I
Right.
think he can be. I mean, it's honestly, man, everybody's been hurt this year,
Yeah.
so you
It's
can't
it's been a
really
bad year. I get you.
training camp, no off, no OTA. So
Mm-hmm.
everybody's been hurt with ankle injuries, high ankle sprains and stuff like that. But I'm telling you, with Deshaun Watson, just think about what Deshaun Watson doing without a number one receiver.
Right.
Just imagine if you gave him a number one receiver like a Julio Jones. He gonna be back to being that top two, top three quarterback being drafted in the
Yeah.
draft. I mean, because with Julio, I mean, and then you keep a Brandon Cooks there, and I mean, you still got those
William
guys.
Fuller comes back from his
William Fuller
suspension.
coming
Right.
back from suspension. You can't William Fuller and Julio Jones.
Yeah. I think that's a nice.
That's a good
Yeah.
tandem at wide receiver. So I think I can see him there. I think that's the only landing spot I can see him at because I don't see him going to another team that could really benefit him
Right.
like that. So I don't know about that honestly. But Matt Ryan, he could be in San Francisco. He could be a number of places that need
Right.
quarterbacks.
There's a lot of
So
places you could see him.
so
Right.
I mean, discount the Jags and the Jets who got the
Hey,
first.
how about the Jags slash Jets? With their possible Trevor, like the Jets choose now to win a game. I'm
In the
like,
game, really? Like, come on, that's stupid. That doesn't make any sense. You lose. Like, I'm not like I have to see more.
right.
And maybe I'm not there yet. Maybe I got to see more on Trevor Lawrence, but I just don't.
Hey, don't miss the boat like you did on Smoking Joe. That's all I'm
I
trying to
missed
say.
I missed the boat on Smoking Joe. I ain't gonna
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie about that. But we're gonna see Trevor Lawrence. They say he gonna be number one. Now Justin Fields is the one you need to worry
Yeah,
about. You
that's
missed the boat
interesting.
on him a little
Yeah.
bit. So he ain't been playing well.
Yeah,
So
that's
definitely. So I don't know. That's gonna be interesting to see if the GM keep him. If he come in and he actually want to keep him,
yeah.
who knows? I mean, they still need to draft a quarterback though, because Matt Ryan ain't. He's not a young man anymore
No.
as far as football. So I still think at the end of the day you have to kind of make that decision. And then the NFL is thinking about adding a 17th game
Mm-hmm.
to the schedule, pretty much knocking off one preseason game, knocking it down
Right.
to 3, adding a 17th game. Now my question for you is, how does that affect fantasy football in a sense?
I think the natural thing is going to just be you extend the regular just like they do in the NFL. You're going to do the same thing in fantasy. You're going to extend the extra week. I think the interesting part is going to be how it plays out in the playoffs, because with that extra week, for instance, most teams now end at week 16. So
Yeah.
I guess maybe next year the fantasy teams are in at week 17. And they'll have that 18th week where you don't play. But the question is, depending on what the playoff scenarios look like, are you going to have people resting for potentially 2 weeks where you get the extra weekend, the fantasy football season, but does it mess you up in the championship game? I don't think we know that, but I think you kind of have to just extend an extra week, just like the NFL, and hope that it doesn't shake out in a bad way. Because even right now, a lot of these playoff races are still active, so I don't think it's gonna be a problem with having an extra week of rest ruining somebody's championship. But I guess we'll wait and see. What do you think?
I think you go. I think you extend it, like you said. I think you still extend that until an extra week. But my question is, do you give one bye or do you give 2 byes? Because
Well,
if you extend it a week, do you give a bye week to the first and second place winner, or do you give to the first and second place person in that league? Do you give them a bye, or you just give it to the first place person?
in fantasy, I'm
Yeah.
giving it to the top 2.
Okay.
Well, let me rephrase it. It depends on how many teams are in your league. I don't think I do that any differently. Uh,
Okay.
it depends on how many are like. For instance, in most of the leagues we're in, I think you get the top two teams to buy,
Yeah,
and so I would do the same thing
that
there.
makes sense.
Unless you're in like a 18 league, like a really small league where there's no real point in having a buy at all.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
I
yeah,
think. I mean, I still think extending it out would be good.
yeah,
But I do think if they do a 17 game, I think it's going to be a division game to kind
probably,
of.
yeah.
It's going to be to where you have to play your main guy because maybe a division is up for grab or
Not
a
if you're in the
seeded.
AFC West.
You ain't lying about that.
Yeah,
Lord have mercy.
and that's going to be fun for a bunch of talking about playing a week further. If you have a team that plays a championship in week 17 and you have Chiefs players,
Yeah,
yeah, you might be hurting.
yeah, you
I
definitely.
hope you got backups just in case.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you do. I
like
mean,
good
which is
backups just in
which is
case.
weird. Like a lot of guys in I noticed last week a lot of
Mhm.
guys in the leagues that we play in who had Pat Mahomes actually are not in the playoffs anymore.
Yeah.
So they kind of it kind of works out for them because once the Chiefs get that bye, which I'm probably sure they got already, because I think Pittsburgh lost, so they lost last week, which that's terrible. Um,
To the Bengals.
to the
To
Bengals.
the
Come on.
Bengals.
That was the Bengals Super Bowl. Come
I know, right?
on. Yeah,
Hey, aren't these the Bengals that beat the Patriots last year? And it's like,
yeah.
I guess at the end of the year is when they decide to play
They
football.
decide to play
Is
well.
that
I
what it
mean,
happens? I don't know, but
that is completely terrible. But I mean, we'll see. Because it's for me, it's interesting next year because as for you, as being commissioners of leagues,
right.
where do we go with that? How do you let us know, people. Let us know if you commission a league. How do you feel about doing an extra week, being that it's going to 17 games? Um, I think it's good for the league. I think, and honestly, it gives you an extra week to actually try to make the playoffs. So you still got a shot of doing it. So I mean,
Uh,
if you're at the bottom of the barrel at 6, 7, 8, you got a shot. Anything can
uh,
happen.
yep.
So I mean, anything happen. We'll see.
All right, we got a question. Bills fan for life. Thank you for joining us this week. Good friend, we play in the league with him. He wants to know, do you play? Well, first he said Merry Christmas, by the way. So Merry Christmas back to you.
Thank
And this is
you.
a question you can answer better than anyone else. Would you play Jared Goff this week or take a flyer on C.J. Beathard? He's your guy. You playing C.J.?
No,
Right.
no,
Not even thinking about
not even thought.
it.
Isn't it the crazy? You know what's crazy?
hmm
I seen him. I seen when he picked him up, and I was gonna call him and ask him about it. I was like, I was gonna call him and ask, but we're gonna talk about that Bills for life. We're gonna
uh-huh.
talk about that one. So I just we
Y'all play Arizona.
play Arizona this week.
Who's that a home game for?
Arizona. It,
Right.
it's for Arizona, but I just don't. We in shambles, man. We got too many injuries. I wouldn't do it. I would play Jared Goff, honestly. I mean, I think that's probably a better play,
Uh,
for real, because
hey,
we got people that's on COVID lists and people that's hurt. Running backs on IR. No, it's too. I wouldn't risk it,
yeah.
honestly.
I'm playing Jared Goff because they're playing against the Seahawks, and I'm playing any quarterback, especially a good one with good weapons. Plus, the Rams lost to the Jets. If they don't come
Yeah,
out this week gunning to wipe the shame off their face, then
something is wrong.
something is wrong with them. Of course, I say that about the Steelers, and look what they went and did. So who knows? But yeah, I'm with you. I'm not gonna trust a championship game on y'all
CJ,
quarterback just because CJ. No, thank you. He's
nah,
like y'all on y'all third
third
quarterback right
quarterback.
now. So
Yeah,
nah,
I mean,
I want
because
somebody.
honestly, if he was that good, he would have been playing over
Right,
Mullins.
right,
So I'm just not gonna do it. I definitely wouldn't do it.
right.
I wouldn't stake my if I knowing what I know about what he's playing for, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So no,
All
I
right.
would.
All right, Phil's fan for like. Thanks for the question. Um, Now, I mentioned earlier I might play Ayuk this week. Which do you think Ayuk is a good play with Beathard back there?
I would play IU just because of the fact that we're gonna be down for one. We're gonna be losing, and it's gonna
What?
play catch up.
You're,
Oh yeah.
hey, you don't
Oh
often say the 49ers are going to lose, so.
oh yeah. We're gonna be losing, bro. Stop it.
Okay.
Like, at this point of the year, bro. It's like we had 9 people miss practice
Right.
this week, bro. Like seriously.
But that's been like all year. Yeah, it's like, this is
So
like, yo, since that
we,
Super Bowl, by the way, it's been bad all year for y'all.
we signed Josh Rosen. That
I
tells
saw
you
that.
enough, right? So
You're scraping
I'm
the
not.
bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, I'm not even. No,
No.
we gonna lose this week, and if we do, hooray, we win. But I'm always bleed the gold and red. That those are my guys. You know that I love my Niners, but I'm just being honest.
One more Niners question for you. What about Kittles? Does he play anymore this year, or you just
Kittle's
sit him?
playing this week. Kittle's
Yeah.
playing this week.
Yeah, that's why
if you
I
got,
heard they activated. I was like, would you play Kittles this week as a fantasy owner and as you're the coach of the 49ers? Do you bother playing him this week?
as a fan, I need him to sit.
Uh-huh.
I really I need him to sit. I understand he want to play, but sometimes you got to hold guys back from their own self. I feel like he should not be on the field because we're playing for nothing at this point. You want him to come back 100% healthy next year, and then you let him be right. But you don't want him to go out there and just say, for instance, I hope it don't happen, but he aggravates that again.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't need that. We need him fully healthy next year, ready to go. I say don't play him. Just like saying they opened the window for Garoppolo this week to practice, and they said he could play next week. Now for him, he probably need to play just to show what he can do.
He need to play so they can decide whether they need to bring in Matthew Stafford or something like that, right?
Matt Ryan or somebody, who,
right.
I ain't gonna say Carson Wentz because I don't want Carson Wentz, but definitely Matthew Stafford. Lord, Matt Ryan, one of those guys. Who knows? Sam Donald.
Somebody named Matthew or
anybody. Somebody, right. Lord. So yeah, I think you have to. Jimmy should play. Kittles no. But if Kittles want to play, let him play. That's what he get paid for. So let him play.
Now, as a fantasy owner, are you putting Kittles in your lineup in your championship game?
I run by my rule of thumb is play your studs. If he's there,
play him.
Yeah. I can't go against my rule. At the end of the day, that's my rule. I can't go against it. I ain't gonna say not play him.
Right.
But you never know what you're gonna get from him because he itching to play. Put him out there, see what you get.
Right.
It's on this last game of the year for you.
Hey, put all your cards on the table. Let's go.
Yeah, put all your cards on the table. Let's go. So, definitely, I ain't mad at it. So yeah.
All right.
I got one more piece of news.
What you got?
These boys cannot stay out of it. Haskins. I just don't know about this guy, man. This guy was in the strip club with no mask on. I don't know, man. Explain to me, man. What's wrong with the guy, man?
You have to be a good quarterback. Since Bills fan for life was watching, if Josh Allen is in the strip club, I'm okay with it because he is so doggone good. He gonna be all right. Dwayne Haskins is an awful quarterback. Let's just put it out. He doesn't have the room to make stupid mistakes like this. And it's his second time because he had a violation earlier when he invited a family friend into the hotel, and now he's out at the strip club without a mask on. You're not good enough to make these kinds of mistakes. You have to be a high caliber player like let's say Antonio Brown, somebody that we're not big on. He does a lot of stupid stuff, but his talent opens doors for him. Josh Gordon who loves weed. So, but he's so talented. Every time he has a chance to get back in the league, people are knocking down the doors to sign him. Dwayne Haskins isn't that good. I don't understand what he's doing. So he's going to get fined $40,000. He lost a C on his jersey. He's not the captain, which he really didn't deserve to be anyway. So it's like, okay, you're basically just righting the ship. Dwayne Haskins is awful, and he better hope he has a backup job next year because he's terrible. And he's showing he's not mature enough to be an NFL quarterback right now. Maybe later. I'm not saying all hope is gone, but right now he's showing himself to be too immature, and he's not good at making decisions, which is probably why he throws so many interceptions.
I think they have to cut bait, honestly. I think I mean, they can't cut bait now, obviously, because they need
They
it.
need him, right?
But at the end of the season, you have to cut bait. I mean, if that means bringing back Alex Smith, which he's under contract for another year, bringing in Alex Smith, and you have another backup quarterback already there. So I would just and draft a quarterback or sign somebody or something. But you got to cut bait. I mean, if he's not going to follow the rules, you already know what time it is. It's right. COVID. You are in a strip club with no mask on. I mean,
being dumb.
Why are you even there in the first place, bro? Right. Like, you need to be in the playbook.
Especially after y'all lost.
You know after that game you put up, bro, you need to be thoroughly in the playbook. Stop it. And you're doing too much.
People in the Washington football team, I'm not a big fan, but I've been rooting for them all year. We're rooting our hearts out for them to do well, and he's losing, and he's at a strip club celebrating with gusto when, the rest of us are like, dude, what's going on? But enough of him. Jimmy J, welcome to the show. He has a question. He wants you to pick his flex spot. I like this question. He has Aaron Jones, Derrick Henry starting alongside A.J. Brown and Jefferson, right? But for the flex spot, Marvin Jones, J.K. Dobbins, or Mike Evans?
J.K. Dobbins, Mike Evans, and who else?
Mike Evans, Marvin Jones, and J.K. Dobbins. Those are your three choices. Who do you put in at the flex spot?
Mike Evans.
That's my choice too. I love what J.K. Dobbins is doing right now, and I like him, but I'm still, as good as he may be, I don't want to trust my championship to him. Marvin Jones, I mentioned before that my wife is in a championship game, and I've been trying to help her. I told her to pick up Marvin Jones weeks ago, and he would been a Bama the whole time. She had him this week. Marvin Jones went off. So I'm like, okay, he did it finally this week, but I'm not trusting him to do it next week. Mike Evans is good old reliable, and they're playing against Detroit. And I think we just saw Tannehill kill Detroit's secondary. I think Tom Brady, who's been snubbed from the Pro Bowl, is going to come out ready to rock. So, good question. I like Mike Evans. You like Mike Evans. So, thank you. And good luck with your championship game, by the way, since you're in there.
Good luck with it, but I will say this. Always remember, play who got you there.
Right.
Honestly. Like, if you got Mike Evans, put him in the game, because it's all for the gusto at this point. You got to play what got you.
Yeah.
So, definitely.
Hey, I have Mike Evans in one of my championship games as well, and he's going to be in my lineup. I'm playing Mike Evans because I think this is going to be a really good game for him.
Definitely got to go Mike Evans on that one. I ain't mad at you on that. But that leads me to a little fun game I want to play really quick.
All right, fun games.
Let's play. And if you're in the audience, you definitely can join in. You listening, you can join in with your answers. But it's called Quarterback Carousel. We got a couple teams and a couple quarterbacks that's going to probably be gone from their teams next year. Yeah. And we're going to take some guests on where they land next year. So we got Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, Matthew Stafford, Kirk Cousins. And that's just 4. If you have any more, if you know any more quarterbacks.
I'm trying to write them down while you was talking. Say it again.
Carson Wentz. Matt Ryan, Matthew Stafford. Kirk Cousins. Those are the 4 quarterbacks. Right. And Phillip Rivers. I'm going to throw Phillip Rivers in there. If they get released, because all those quarterbacks have to be released at some point or cut or something, where do they land? Where do they land at? Where do these quarterbacks land at? What team needs them? Who do you think? Where do they end up? Period. In your mind.
All right.
Let's start with Carson Wentz.
Ah, man, you started with a hard one. I was going to start with Phillip Rivers.
Let's start with Carson Wentz.
Doggone it. All right, then. If you're going to make me start there, I'm going to say Carson Wentz is in Indianapolis.
Okay.
I think that's the most logical spot I can think of for him. If not in Indianapolis, I kind of like Chicago as a landing spot because I think they're going to be. Well, I don't know whether they're going to stick with – I don't see why you would stick with Nick Foles. I think they are done with Trubisky, even though I think that's probably not the right call. But I think Trubisky could use a break from Chicago. So if I'm not if I don't have Wentz in Indianapolis, I think Chicago's my next favorite landing spot for him.
Okay, so what we're gonna do? I'm gonna let you do yours first, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna do mine.
All right.
So, all right, Phillip Rivers, where does he land?
Hey, I thought you were gonna tell me your Wentz landing spot.
No. I'm gonna do mine. We can have.
Yeah, let's stay on the same guy. Yeah, I want to know what you think about
okay.
Carson Wentz.
I'm thinking Wentz with that contract and thinking about the teams that will pay him.
Right.
And I think he's going to be a little bit bitter.
He's going to be a lot of bit bitter.
He's going to be bitter.
Yeah.
Thinking Washington.
Okay, that's a interesting one.
I'm thinking Washington because they need a quarterback, and we just talked about Haskins, who needs to be cut. Alex Smith is still Alex Smith. I mean, obviously, and Carson Wentz is still under 30. Mm-hmm. And I think Daniel Snyder is that type of guy who would take that contract on with no problem, on top of Wentz wanting to get back at Philly because he's been benched.
Right.
So I'm gonna say Washington.
I like that. I hadn't thought about that one.
Say Washington.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna take over. And I'm gonna say the next one we're doing is Phillip Rivers because my mom, Arlene, has a question. Says, "Why am I sending Carson Wentz to her team?" Which is actually kind of funny now that I think about it, because my father is an Eagles fan and my mother's a Colts fan, so I'm just shipping. I'm shipping the trash from Philly over to Indianapolis. But here's why I say that, because where do I have Phillip Rivers next year? At home on his couch with his 12, 13 kids watching TV, because I think Phillip Rivers needs to hang it up. I think he's washed. I think he's done. He's come along at the end of the season and is playing some decent football, but he's going to be a year older next year. I think he needs to say, I've done the best I can do. I need to sit down. So, Phillip Rivers out of the league.
I'm gonna say maybe 70% out of the league, and I'm gonna say 30% maybe in New Orleans.
Ooh, okay. Why there? I mean, because the reason I asked you is because that's taking one washed-up quarterback and putting in another washed-up quarterback.
Well, it's all about having fun with this game. So right. I'm gonna say, okay. I'm gonna say just playing around. I'm gonna say New Orleans because of the fact that Taysom Hill is not your typical NFL quarterback.
You believe that? I believe that. Do you think Sean Payton believes that?
You cannot believe that. Cannot believe that. If they don't bring back, and I want to throw one more name in there too, Jameis Winston. We're gonna talk about. So if they don't bring back Jameis Winston, they have to bring in a quarterback that I think can actually play the position like they need it to be. Because we seen when they actually focused on Taysom Hill and him running, we seen what happened. We seen that he kind of got shut down in that area, and he did pass well. Yeah, but it wasn't well enough for them to win the game, and he got sacked like 5 or 6 times that one game. So just throwing it out there to be fun, I could see a 1-year deal to kind of get him groomed a little bit more in New Orleans. What you think?
No.
I like that. I like that. Okay.
I mean, I just say it like this. If they brought in somebody, Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston need to just pack their bags and just leave, because that's just an insult to not give one of them that shot.
I got you on that. I ain't mad at that.
Right. By the way, speaking of, like you said, bringing Jameis Winston back, it seems hearing Sean Payton talk now that he's like, he felt he was somewhat obligated to give Taysom Hill a shot at it because he promised him blah, 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 blah. But he's saying he's bringing, he wants to, like I think we discussed last week, we were talking about how Jameis Winston's going to have a chance to win the starting job, and he's been playing well in practice, et cetera, et cetera. But to me, it's like, I don't know what to make of that situation, and I don't even know if I'm Jameis, I think I'm holding a grudge, and I'm trying to move on somewhere else, like maybe a Cincinnati for a 1-year deal, where I know they're gonna most likely need somebody starting off the year.
Yeah, but
definitely. Yeah. We have a question from Anita Bracey. The question is, What are y'all thinking happened to Cam Newton out of the league because he sucks? And Jacoby Brissett. I think I'm interested in seeing if they try to give him another chance in Indianapolis.
He wasn't that bad in the
He
first
wasn't
place.
exactly. I was surprised. The fact that they brought in Phillip Rivers was I was a bit astonished. It's not like Brissett did a bad job last year. We'll see, but they didn't give it to him. So I'm wondering what's different going into next year. Yeah.
I think he's a backup next year. If the Colts, if you bringing in somebody like a Wentz, I think you keep him there as a backup,
right?
Just because he know the system, and like he's a good reliable backup. So it's not like you gotta have a good backup nowadays in the NFL. So I think he's a backup there personally. Well, now Cam Newton's gonna either be in the league or he's gonna be a backup somewhere.
I think he's washed. Much like I said about Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers. If I'm not giving those guys a chance, I'm definitely not giving Cam Newton a chance because other than a couple of games when he's done stuff with his legs, give me a reason to believe he is a quality quarterback anymore. Because I'm not seeing it in New England.
I'm not seeing it either, but I think he can hold a clipboard.
Yeah, I mean, do you think... I like Cam, but let's say Cam, he thinks highly of himself. Do you think he takes the job as a backup? Because I'm not seeing it.
He's going to have to get humbled. I mean, if you want to stay in the league, I mean, you got to think about it this way. Jameis Winston was a starting quarterback last year, and he got humbled to the point where he signed.
But Cam was an MVP in a Super Bowl playing quarterback. Jameis never had that under his belt.
But he ain't playing well.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to be humbled at some point and say, you know what? I didn't play well last year. I had an opportunity to play well, but I didn't show out. So I'm going to have to go and get a backup job somewhere and hope for the best and see can I kind of regain what I had. Mm-hmm. We don't know. I think he's too young to be out of the league. And, I mean, I think he's going to be a backup next year on somebody's team.
Yeah.
He's not gonna make a lot of money, but I think he's gonna be a backup next year, definitely. So, the next one I want to do is Kirk Cousins.
He's bad at his job, and he's a guy I would also say he should be out, but I don't think Kirk Cousins is out. I think he's still in the league next year. I think he gets another shot. Where on this carousel do I see him potentially going? Maybe if Stafford's out of Minnesota. No. Maybe if Stafford is out of Detroit, you bring in Kirk Cousins, stay within the division, and you bring Kirk Cousins there.
I'm saying Kirk Cousins. If they get rid of Kirk Cousins, I'm thinking New York Giants.
The Giants? Mm-hmm. Do you think they're done with Daniel Jones?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. If it's not the Giants, it's the Jets. Because I don't believe in Fields. I don't believe in Justin Fields.
Yeah, and that's going to I guess it depends. Under the assumption that the Jaguars are going to have that number one pick, do the Jets go drafting somebody or do they go with a veteran? The Jets are so bad. I guess we got to see who comes in because there's no possible way to bring Adam Gase back for another year. It can't happen, right? And so I guess well, it's the Jets, so it could, but it shouldn't. It shouldn't.
Yeah,
and so I'm thinking you just scrap the whole thing and because they have virtually no talent in the Jets. So I don't bring in a veteran. I'd say, hey, we're gonna suck. We might as well suck with a young guy.
I mean, I don't believe in Justin Fields. Honestly, I think they blew it by winning last week, but they could have got. I mean, I think that's just retarded. But at the end of the day, Justin Fields is probably not the answer. But they need, if they do draft a quarterback, they need somebody to come in for him to hold a clipboard for a year, 6 games, 8 games. But Kirk Cousins is going to bring a lot of money because his contract is so big.
Right.
You're going to have to pay him and play him.
Yeah.
So that's why I said the Giants.
Right.
Because Daniel Jones has not proven that he could be that
Daniel Jones has
winner.
regressed a lot, I think, from his
And
rookie
I
year.
think
Yeah.
with Saquon coming back and you got those receivers there in New York,
Right.
they can be all right in that division with a Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
So,
And let us also add Pro Bowler Evan Ingram. I think we had a
Evan,
bet going at the beginning of the year about Hunter Henry versus Evan
yeah,
Ingram.
you won that one. I
Now,
did that too.
barely though. The first half of the
Yeah,
year, I thought it was a wash. Evan
yeah,
Ingram has, at least at the end of the year, reminded me why I liked him so much.
yeah.
It didn't help me out in fantasy. In fact, I think I ended
I
up
think
dropping him in the league I had him. But yeah,
I think New York,
but New York
the
says they
Giants,
yeah. I
they
think
need
they need a they could use benefit from a veteran quarterback. So I can see that.
okay.
I can see that because they have all the talent around. They have like you said, Shepard and Slayton. Maybe even Golden Tate if he's still around. Like you
Got
said, Saquon
Saquon.
Barkley, Evan Ingram. They got weapons.
I mean,
They
honestly,
got
if you think
weapons.
about it, that offense
And the defense
fits.
is really good. So yeah,
Yeah,
all they need is a quarterback.
It fits what Kirk Cousins really is about.
Yeah,
Kirk Cousins, he can't lead a team like that. As
yeah,
far as like throwing the ball 30 times, that's not the way he plays.
right,
Now, if you got a good running game, he's definitely
right.
going to be that guy. You can sprinkle in about 25 attempts a game, 250 yards, maybe 2 touchdowns, an
Hmm.
interception here or there. But I think he'll fit the mold of that offense if they were to bring him in. I think that's the good fit for him.
I feel that.
What you got next?
All right, let's go next with Matt Stafford. I know where you want him to go. I'm gonna
Woo-hoo.
I'm gonna say if he's not, I'm really interested to see what the 49ers do with Garoppolo versus bringing in somebody else in. So let's say for now, Matthew Stafford is not going to be where you want him.
Okay.
I like Matthew Stafford in New England. I think Belichick could do something with that. By the way, Bills fans popped in and said Dan Jones ain't going nowhere, and I kind of want to agree with him in as much as I hate when teams give up on players so quickly. Like I said, Dan Jones has been terrible for the most of this year. I don't think I want to throw him away yet.
Have some fun, Bill.
But he's on there nice. He's on there nice. Because hey, if people thought like that, Josh Allen wouldn't have been in Buffalo anymore. They didn't give up on him, even though he couldn't throw 60% completion. And it's paying dividends this year. Because
I'm just saying.
yeah.
I mean, have some fun, Bills for life. You know what we doing here. Have some fun. No, definitely.
Right.
Matthew Stafford in New England. I can see that. I can definitely see Matthew Stafford in New England.
I could
But
see
I
Matt
see
Ryan
Stafford.
there too. Honestly, I could see Belichick trying to do something with either one of those guys.
I don't see Matt Ryan.
You know,
I see Matthew Stafford before I see Matt Ryan.
yeah, that's the one I see first. Yeah, I agree with you there.
But ain't no weapon there. There's no weapons there for Matt Stafford to throw to.
N'Keal Harry is going to be legit one of these days. I don't know when.
N'Keal Harry is not going to be legit. He's
No,
terrible.
you're not feeling it.
No.
Jacoby Myers?
No. There's no weapons there.
50-year-old Julian Edelman?
He's pretty much in the same boat
Right.
he was in Detroit if you go to New England. So it's like, do you go there? No, I wouldn't go there.
Right.
You know where you need to go? Santa Clara. Francisco. I mean, we talked about it earlier. Brandon Ayuk, Kittles, Debo. It's there. I mean, the rumbling is there. The rumors are there. I can see it happening. The money fits. I mean, they can do an even swap Garoppolo for Stafford and make it work. I mean, hey, we all can be happy, you know?
Well, Bills fan playing along, Bills for Life says Matthew Stafford in Denver. What do you think of that? Are you giving up on Drew Lock? I see Drew Lock the same kind of way as I see Daniel Jones. I'm trying to think who I think is better between those two. Those are two young quarterbacks I had a lot of hope for this year. I like Daniel Jones and Drew Lock, and I have not seen a lot to like about either one of them. I guess I like Drew Lock a little bit more, but I'm not convinced that's true though.
Yeah, the question is, Drew Lock with an actual offensive-minded coach, does he do well? So if you stick him, just hypothetically, if you stick him with an offensive-minded coach, just say like a Shanahan or something, just throwing his name out there, do you Do you think he
You
does
getting rid of
better with a
Shanahan? You're
real?
going to send him to Denver?
No. I'm
You
not
just mean
saying that.
someone like Shanahan, not actually
Someone
Shanahan. Okay,
like Shanahan.
just making sure. I want to make sure I have this game down correctly.
No. I'm just saying. Do you
I think
see?
we've seen enough from Drew Lock to believe he's talented enough to bring it around, especially if you have, a year older Jerry Jeudy. You have a healthy Cortland Sutton there. Noah Fant as the tight end. There's so much talent there in Denver.
I think they're going to give up on him too early.
You think they might? I wouldn't be surprised. I'd say one thing. If Detroit gets rid of Stafford, someone's going to get a really good quarterback. And if it's Denver with those weapons I just named, that's going to be nasty.
It's going. I'm telling you, it's going to be. But you can't. I feel like Drew Lock is still. He young, but you're right. You throw him in that same boat as the Daniel Jones. You just don't. You don't know what you're getting right now. But you see the potential in what they have.
Another thing about Drew Lock is last year he had the injury that kept him out to the end of the year. This year he was injured a bit of this year as well. You kind of start. Is he a Carson Wentz in the making where you just can't rely on the guy? I don't know.
I got one for you. I got one
what
for
you
you.
got?
Back to Kirk Cousins. Do you see Kirk Cousins? Just say Kirk Cousins. That doesn't resign with Dallas. Do you see Kirk Cousins in a Dallas uniform?
I think if they don't give Dak a check, I mean, you can't pay. I think you franchise Dak for another year. But if you don't, if that's not on the table, because I can see Jerry Jones doing something crazy because he's Jerry Jones. I think he likes. It's a question of whether I see a Kirk Cousins there. I think that would be insane because we've seen Kirk Cousins with a whole lot of weapons muck it all up. If I'm Jerry Jones and I'm not signing Dak, I want somebody like a Matt Ryan because Dallas for at least 5 years now has been that team that everybody's been saying they are set, they're ready to win now, and they haven't been close. They haven't even sniffed winning in these last few years. I'm not going to screw it up at quarterback and bring in a Kirk Cousins. I would rather bring in a Stafford or a Matt Ryan. And for the guys we have on this game so far, those are the only two I'm bringing in if it's not Dak Prescott.
Okay. I mean, I want to say it'll be Dak, but...
Yeah. But that's not the name of this game. It's quarterback carousel, so you got to move people around.
You got to move them around, but I think if Dak is not there, I'm seeing... You might be right, but I think he's crazy enough to take a fly on Kirk Cousins. I think he's crazy enough.
I mean, at this point in Kirk Cousins' career, he is who he is. You know what I'm saying? When he went to Minnesota, I think there was hope that, with those surroundings, he might end up being a quality guy. He hasn't been. He's getting cussed out by a rookie wide receiver. So, So right now, I'm like, Kirk Cousins is Kirk Cousins, sort of like the old thing with Jay Cutler. People kept thinking Jay Cutler could get better. Jay Cutler is Jay Cutler. Kirk Cousins is going to make a bunch of mistakes, and he's going to hold the ball when he should be throwing it. He's going to throw it when he should be throwing it away. He's going to do bad things because he's Kirk Cousins. So if I'm Dallas and I'm Jerry Jones, who always thinks his team is ready for the Super Bowl, Kirk Cousins isn't the way. But like you said, he's crazy enough to think it's the way. Hey, he brought in Andy Dalton. So
exactly. That's what I mean. I'm just saying.
So am I gonna try to figure out Jerry Jones' brain? Not even.
He brought in Andy Dalton and
right.
paid him $7-8 million to be a backup. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
It's possible. I think the last one on the list was Matt Ryan.
Yep, Matt Ryan. San Francisco? Or you got another name?
Could be. Matt Ryan. Let me see. I don't see New England, but possible.
Okay.
Because he want to go to a winner. It has to be a team that's kind of set to win.
I actually like your 49ers for that, just to reconnect with Shanahan.
I can see San Francisco.
Yeah.
I can see Denver.
But I'd say who else? What happened? He's not in the carousel, but Roethlisberger says he's coming back to get this cash. If he's not back, is that a potential Matt Ryan kind of place? They're definitely a contender.
They got the weapons.
They got the weapons.
They got the defense. I mean, they got the team. Everything is set for anybody that goes there. So I'm thinking. I'm still thinking San Francisco.
Yeah, I think just because of his familiarity with Shanahan and the offense, I think that's the best spot. But if he's there, because you have just about every quarterback going to San Francisco, where's Garoppolo going to end up? Is he going to be a starter, or is he going to be back
I think
up
he's
somewhere?
He's going to New England. I'm gonna tell you the thing about
that. I could see that.
The thing about
I could see that.
Me and Bill Splay had this conversation a couple of days ago. He's old. His contract is not guaranteed.
Right.
So basically, going into next year, he can be cut and just be owed about $3 million. And on top of that, he has a no trade clause in his contract. So basically, if he get traded, he has to approve the trade.
Right.
So for me, if we do go a Matt Ryan route or a Matthew Stafford route, you can trade him to a New England for a 3rd round pick. And like I told Keith, I was like, they don't have to draft. He's 29.
Wow.
So he'd be 30 going into next year. You got your quarterback. He know the system. He know the coach. He know the offensive coordinator. So you don't have to come in and cram the playbook to him.
Right.
Because he can walk in the door and you already know what he know and you know him. So it's like all you're doing is bringing him up to speed to all the nuance that y'all have included recently. So at the end of the day, I think trading him back to New England is probably the best bet for him. I don't see him going anywhere else. And plus Belichick, if y'all remember 2-3 years ago, Belichick wanted to get rid of Tom Brady for him.
Right.
So at the end of the day, I think him going back to New England is probably the best choice for him. They don't have a quarterback at this point. Stidham is terrible. Cam is terrible.
Brian Hoyer
is terrible.
Right.
So you're going back to Garoppolo as your number one, who you wanted in the first place, but the owner didn't want to get rid of Tom Brady. So your hands was tied at the end of the day. So I see if that was to happen, and by all means, he could stay. He could end up back in San Francisco for all I know.
Yeah.
But if we're talking quarterback character, I think New England is probably his best choice. And Matt Ryan, I think out of Matt Ryan and Matthew Stafford, I think Matt Ryan is probably a higher percentage of going to San Francisco than Matthew Stafford.
I agree. I agree with that.
For me, so yeah.
All right.
What you think?
I think the Matt Ryan to San Francisco and Garoppolo to New England are the two things I like the most out of this whole thing. So yeah, I think those are very solid. Other than the Phillip Rivers retiring, because he should. But yeah.
He should retire, but I just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
I just don't.
But I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to play another year either, because quite frankly, I thought he should have retired after he left San Diego. Well, not San Diego, but Los Angeles.
You know how much money they gave him this year, right?
Yeah.
They gave him $20 million.
That's a reason to play.
That's the reason to play.
That's the reason to play.
If somebody threw him $18 million to come back and be a starting quarterback, even 20 again, I'm telling you right now. And if Drew Brees is not, because according to New Orleans coach, they're expecting Drew Brees to retire this year. So, and I fully don't. Hill, I don't believe in. So I just I feel like if it's not Winston, it's got to be somebody else. It ain't Hill for me though.
Okay. All right.
You got anything left?
The only thing we got left is it's that time of year. It's the holiday season. So, you got all your Christmas stuff lined up. You got all your gifts bought and wrapped. Do you have any family traditions or anything you guys do that you're looking forward to?
No, I mean, we bad stuff for the little one. I mean,
right.
She got everything she asked for. I mean, she at this age now to where she see a commercial and it's like, I want this and I want that. So at the end of the day, she the only one, and she's spoiled. She'll spoil brat anyway. So she pretty much get what she wants. So Christmas is gonna be good for her like always. So just go enjoy it, sit back, man. And watch her play with her toys and stuff, man. No, you didn't. No, you didn't break it out. So hey,
Hey, so
yeah, definitely.
we
So
gonna do it. We gonna do it. Um, we are actually this year. We didn't really do gifts this year. We did more of a give to charity kind of
yeah,
thing. So that was it's not an old tradition, but it's a fairly new one. So we've been doing that as well as hanging out with the family, games and stuff on the Skypes
Skype,
has become the new way
Zoom,
to be in
yeah,
contact with everybody.
yeah.
So doing that, watching a bunch of Christmas movies. You have a favorite Christmas movie?
Yes.
What you got?
Chris Brown. Obviously,
Oh, this Christmas?
this Christmas
Okay.
is the one for me. But I also want to say I did get my own personal Christmas gift for myself and my family.
Oh, really?
I purchased a home. So
Yes.
we purchased the home December 1st. So that's a personal Christmas gift for us. So definitely that's why I don't really need nothing else. Honestly, I got what I want, so I'm good.
That's what's up.
At the end of the day, so it's been good for me. So I can't complain. But
Uh,
hey, to everybody else, enjoy. Enjoy your family, enjoy good food. I
uh-huh.
mean, you know how it is, man. It's 2020 has been a weird year.
Yeah.
Can't really be around your family too much, but whatever you got to do to get close to them, Skype, whatever, Zoom, talk to them.
Yeah.
Definitely you
That's
want to have that contact with them. So
I agree. That's the main thing about it. Stay safe. Um, like I said, be in contact with your loved ones because that's the most important thing to me about the holidays. Spending time with family, even if you're not there directly with them
yeah,
to connect. Find a way to call, send letters. Well, the post office, you probably should have done that already. But
yeah,
emails
definitely.
if you can. Give everybody love. I got it actually before we go, since we're about to head out. I got a little gift for you since I saw you're able to see the show live from where you are. I found this T-shirt that I was like, this is the gift I want to give my brother. I know you got the house and everything, but I figured
Appreciate
this is for you. So
it. Don't,
it's
don't,
it's all love. This is just a little gift from the Lewis family to you because you know how we do. I joke with
yeah, I know.
you.
Yeah. Hey, everybody that know us, we've been rocking for a long
Yeah,
time, and we brothers forever, man. So and we do this thing we gonna be doing this for a long time. Like my
yeah,
old saying, we here and we ain't going nowhere, and that's the honest truth when it comes down to it,
that is
honestly.
it. It's
So hey, and we steady building people,
we
but
we
y'all don't
we learning
realize
and we're
behind the
growing.
scenes
Yeah,
we
it's
building,
we
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 doing stuff.
we made it. You know what I'm saying? Doing even all the crazy of 2020. This is our first full year doing it. We
Yeah,
started in the playoffs of last year, and hey, it's been a like you said, it's been a crazy year. But I think it's a year we've grown, we've learned a lot. So I just want to say thank you, everybody that watches the show regularly, or even if it's your first time watching, we appreciate it. Hey, grow with us, stay with us. Like you said, we ain't going nowhere. So get used to it.
so hey, we got big things coming. We gonna work on some stuff. Going into the next season next year. So we definitely it's gonna get bigger and better. And like you said, we ain't going nowhere, man. We just getting started, man. So we about 1% in. We gonna go hard. So,
Long way to go.
so
So,
we got a long way to go. So yeah. But
so
we definitely appreciate y'all definitely tuning in.
yeah,
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, whatever you celebrate.
Kwanzaa's,
Happy to
everything.
everything. So and kiss your babies, kiss your kids. Make sure they got all the toys they want. Hey, Happy New Year.
All right,
Definitely. Love y'all.
love y'all. Peace out.
All right, peace out.